Hey everyone, welcome tonight to Avini Vibes. Great name, right? Avini Vibes. It's always about good vibes happening here. Today is the end of the month. Hard to believe it's August 31st already. And I don't know about you, but I'm sitting in New York and it's beautiful weather, the most perfect weather that we could actually have. So I'm grateful for that. And, I shared with maybe one or two of you that I talked to on the phone tonight. Something special to me. I just want to share that every once in a while, something happens that I get a confirmation of a goodness, of a being in the right place, of a good thing. And today my neighbor texted me and said, "There's a bald eagle circling over your house." So for me, that was a good sign. So I'm grateful for that confirmation that I know I'm in the right place here tonight with all of you. And I do want to let you know we are recording. Most of you are distributors, or we do have some new distributors, but we also have some guests in the house. So again, welcome guests for being here with us. Now, also, we do not make any medical claims. So we're here to serve. We're here as Bill Spence was just saying that it's all about making a difference. And there's sometimes we have an agenda, sometimes we don't have an agenda, but more importantly, we try to share the magnitude of the gift that we have, the natural immune defense and cellular health that this company, Avini, has provided for us. And, I just have to say that personally, it's been a great ride for me from my good friend Eddie, who shared Avini with me because of some of the things that I was dealing with health wise. And I'll be grateful every day of my life for that opportunity. And I know that's how Avini gets shared, one person at a time. Each of us pass on the baton to share our goodness, and we're a family about that. But with that said, I just wanted to let Eddie's going to come on just for a moment. And Ed Kwaski's from Florida, know him long, long time. And he and I have worked together on different projects, but Eddie was the one that shared Avini with me, and he shared a particular nano silver with me and the cell defender, and it really made a difference for me personally in a very short time. So Ed, do you want to jump on the call and just say hey, give it about 5-10 minutes if you want. We got Chip in the house, so he probably will answer some questions if our guest has questions. But join us, Ed. You got to unmute. Let's see.
Yep. Yeah, there we go.
There you
Good.
go. So
Uh,
welcome, Ed.
Thank you. Yeah, it's funny, you talk about making a difference. I have a good friend of mine that always said, I just want to make my mark. And, when I found Avini, it was through Kyle. And the interesting thing, I was just going to hit on a couple of things, but when I was, those of you, maybe Lisa doesn't know this story, and some of you maybe do not, but I was always a baseball player. I played through high school, college, went to Europe and all that. I was always in pretty good shape. And I'm gonna summarize this because if I get rambling, Christine and Alan Way, especially, Alan has to shut me up. But I got to the point in October of 2021 where I was literally obese for 3 months. My body was just it was not passing anything, and I was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I always kept saying, I got to detox, I got to detox, I got to get this stuff out. My mother told me that a long time ago. And I just said, I don't know how. I don't know what to get. So I got this stuff from a guy that was homeopathic, and it helped me. And but prior to that, I was at Mayo. My sister made me go. And I went in, and in 5 minutes, the nurses diagnosed me with, let's just call it the worst case of liver disease you could get. And kind of like the only way was transplant to get out of that situation, which I said, no way. And being competitive and having a background from mom about homeopathic and different things, I just knew that I could fight it, reverse it. Um, Drained 24 pounds of fluid out of me. And I was on my journey. I was 268 pounds, October 2021. And saw a homeopathic doctor and knew I had to detox. I started doing that. And I got myself at November 30th. I was, long story short, I set a goal. I was my playing weight in college. I got back down to 189. That's not a story about a diet that you need to adhere to. I was in very bad shape. So then I went to do the Hurricane Ian thing last year. It's really ironic this is coming up now that I'm telling this because I didn't know about Avini when I was in Fort Myers doing hurricane relief work. Get a call from Kyle, and he tells me about Avini. And I said, man, I'm all about it. As soon as I get back, can't do anything right now. Get back December 22nd, get with Kyle January 1 or 2, call Christine and told her what I found. And I said, I know literally what I said. I said, hey, listen, I'm not telling you to do this, but you have to do this. You have to do this. And I backed that up with I found something, an old email from my mother. And Alan Way knows my mother, spoke to her on the phone. She passed away in 19. But I found this old email. And it really made me sad because I didn't find it till about a year ago. But I found it on my phone. And if I can pull it up real quick, I'm going to show you. Basically, she was on Rick's Products in 2016, and I was too. It was another company, and I was going through a divorce in 16, and that was back when she was so heavily involved in this. She was a genius. Metals, environmental toxins. She quotes in an email to me that I have on my computer from February 2016. You've got to make sure that you're flushing out the heavy metals, toxins, all that stuff. And this is seven years ago. So all that came back to me, and when Kyle told me about this, I said, "That's it. This is it. This is how I'm carrying on mom's legacy, and this is a missing piece because in my good diet and my detoxing, nothing was taking the metals out. So you can do. Doug Dickey could tell you he went on a great diet, but that didn't take the metals out and the environmental toxins and all that stuff. So when he told me in 15 minutes what this stuff did, sitting down the street at the beach, I said, I'm in. And I said, this is the answer. This is the answer because the audience is everybody. And so now I have security knowing that I had a major thing going on. I'm not playing around with this now. So I do not miss a day. I've never missed a day since January 14th of taking this. And so the results have been unbelievable. My weight has stayed between 182 and 190 for the last couple of years. Avini helps stabilize that. It cleans out my body, and my body now can perform optimally. And I'm 57, and at the time I went to Mayo, my metabolic age interior, I was 55, 85. I was 85 inside, 85-year-old man. And when I went back November 30th, I know I'm hopping around, but 45 days later, I came down and I was 50. So in that period of time, I was able to do that. So it's two things. This stuff works whether you feel great or you in a dire situation. It does not matter. But what matters is when you put it in your body, if you don't think it's doing anything, get your blood work done 3 months later, take it consistently, and then see. Then see. And like Chip always says, if you're going to shower outside, shower on the inside. I did that. And guys, I will tell you that I know this is God's stuff. This is God's property. This is out of the earth. It's lava, ash meets saline water. And Rick Dice, the genius that he is, they would put it together. Thank God for him. People like Chip and Doug and you guys that steer us and help us, because I just know that this is something that I'll do for the rest of my life and share it, because I really feel like in this business, if you want to call it a business, it's really sharing and blessing people. That's all we're doing. And the story tells itself. It's just, there's nothing we have to do other than get it into people's bodies, let them tell their own story, and then you are going to get paid, like Rich Cotter says in Goosebumps. That's gratifying, and you're making a difference and making a mark. It's like, in a nutshell.
Thank you, Ed.
Welcome.
Thank you. Chip, can you unmute a minute? I want to ask you a question because I had a conversation with someone I know very well. It's actually my husband's secretary today, and we talked at length. And she said to me that she didn't realize that she was could possibly have metals in her body, because I said something about the pet. She loves pets, so I was telling her about our new pet products, and she knows, we're always talking about our pets. And she snuck 2 cats into my husband's office without him knowing of it. But she said, do you think that my animals are exposed to toxins? And do you think I am? So do you mind just chiming in a little bit on that? I know the animals come low to the ground and all of that, but she didn't quite, I had to kind of share that with her, why we are heavily exposed to heavy metals and toxins on a daily basis.
Yeah, on the cat thing, the word pseudoplasmosis, that's a pathogen transmitted by cats, and people who love cats wind up face to face snuzzling with cats, right? And so you don't want to be suspicious that your cat's going to give you a pseudoplasmosis, I don't think. I mean, that's like, okay, stay away from me. Well, okay, come on over here, but it's pretty cool to put in the morning when I feed Boo, who is an 18-year-old black cat that my wife dearly loves, especially since her dog hasn't managed to stick around all summer. We lost the dog to old age. And anyway, so Boo is about an 18-year-old black cat, and owned her mother and her mother's mother. That all started when my daughter came home from the gal that was at the beauty shop was a farmer, and they had a litter of kittens, and I got the "can I keep it, Dad" thing with this little cuddly little kitten. And I wonder if you guys know calico cats, three-colored cats. What sex are three-colored cats?
I know, but I'm not saying.
Do you know why?
They're almost always female. There's
They are always female. Same way with three-colored horses, by the way. If you get a three-colored horse, the reason is it's a sex-linked trait. Color is on the X chromosome. To have three colors, you have to have two X chromosomes. That's just kind of cool stuff to think about, I think. Of course, you want to have nice, healthy, wonderful chromosomes. But yeah, your cats, another neat thing about cats when it comes to Avini, pretty much everything you can do to help a cat with discomfort will wipe its kidneys out. Cats are really, really frail kidneys, and they can't deal with almost anything that deals with discomfort or misery. If they have to go in for a surgery, they give them the least they can for the shortest period they can, and they only give it to them once. You don't get a bunch of, pain pills to go home with your cat because it'll kill the cat. Marcy and Robin West work with all of those domesticated big cats that have been in rescue programs. So the ones that are lions and tigers, lions crossed with tigers, which is called a liger, and then a lion crossed with a tiger crossed back to a lion, which is a lilliger, which basically gives you something that looks like a tiger or a lion, but it has spots like a cheetah.
Wow.
You would think at 400 or 500 pounds are powerful and strong, and but they have very, very weak kidneys. And this is, I don't know if I ought to tell this detail, so forget it as soon as I tell you. But they've gone through a lot of stress trying to be able to keep the facilities, because the state where they were asked them to move away, where they were caring for these cats. And so they had to start over, and they were on financially on death's door as a group. And so when Rick started Avini, he had some product with the old label on it from the company before we did Avini, and sent that to them to save those cats, so that the cats could have it frequently. But how do you afford enough to do a whole bunch of big cats that are in your care? And so that's the kind of thing, the kind of people that in the cat world that you're participating with here. Marcy and Robin have provided the cats with Avini Cell Defender, whatever name it had. Now, so thank goodness we now have Avini. The rest of Ed's story is, and the Kyle story, Kyle was involved in the creation of this company. It's kind of interesting because he was sort of trapped doing something else, but here helping to create this company, helping to think through the compensation plan, encouraging Neil to do it. to go ahead and start the company, encouraging Rick to go ahead and do it, that it would attract the leaders of the network marketing industry. That good of an operation. And so that's sort of what happened. So there's a little bit of cat stuff for you.
Lisa, it looks like you run twice. We
It's
have two.
okay.
There she is.
There we go.
We like having Lisa. So I just want to share something that happened with my cat. So my cat has this, you know, she was a rescue, showed up at my house. She was about 2 pounds. I already had a 22-year-old Maine Coon, you know, big stoic cat in our house with 2 dogs and a horse. And this little one, Sophia, showed up, and she, you know, my husband's like, "Oh, you can't keep her." I said, "Well, watch me, I'm going to." So we kept her, but she always gets these, like, over her top of her eyes. She loses her hair. It almost looks mangy, but it's not mange. And she scratches her ears a lot. So, like, I've been dealing with that for years until I learned about nano silver. So she doesn't like the spray. So I have to kind of, you know, go in the other room and spray it on my hands because cats can hear really well. And then I just wiped it right over her eyes. Do you know, in 3 days, gone. Absolutely gone. I mean, this is a battle we've been having she's 15 years old now. On every year. And now just in a couple days, it's gone. And she's a much happier camper now, for sure. I have some work I'm doing on a horse right now, with the products also. I'm going back to the barn tomorrow, but a horse with some issues as well. So I'm excited. Like, we didn't plan for this to be an animal topic, but with my grandson dog being in the room tonight, I wanted us to share a little bit about the pet products because I'm just thrilled about those as well.
Before we leave the animal topic, I wanted to jump on your eagle example. Marcy, on a little, you know, irrigation lake, nothing more than really a wide spot in the irrigation ditch where I coach water skiers out here in western Nebraska, was on the phone to a woman who lived on Vashon Island by the Puget Sound, which is right next to Seattle. And Marcy looked out the window and said, "Oh, there's an eagle." And Ruth Williams was on the other phone. She said, "Oh, there's an eagle." Well, her eagle swooped down and picked a salmon out of the Puget Sound. Marcy's eagle swooped down and picked a carp out of Little Lake Alice in western Nebraska. When they took them back to the nest, both nests grew bald eagles. And so I want us there somehow in there's a lesson about our Avini groups. You know, you can start it with just the people that are close to you around your town. Start on your block where you may know the biggest network marketers in the world. In either case, you bring them back to the nest and you'll grow eagles. I hope there's something in there. I hope you like that one, but yeah,
Like
that had
that
to
one.
jump on the eagle thing.
I like that one a lot and appreciate that very much because, you know, as another conversation, I had someone today, they were afraid to share, afraid what they were thinking about because I don't want to sell, she told me. I said, "Honey, you're not selling. If you don't share this, I feel like it's our responsibility to share this."
I do too.
Because I know
You
personally
know,
what happened to me and all of the people, like tonight's a light night, but all the testimonials that we've heard and we know personally. Go ahead, Chip.
well, the advantage that I have, you guys, is I've been around for a while. I've been riding the planet for a long time, but a big chunk of that time I've been around Rick and doing this. And so I've heard a lot of these questions. And so maybe for years, I didn't really have an answer for that thing. I'm not a salesman. Not until just a couple of months ago did I think the perfect answer come to me. And somebody was saying that, and I thought, okay, I understand that. I don't think I am either. What I think you are, I'm watching you, and it looks to me like you're an enthusiast about living things and what makes them more alive.
Mhm.
I don't think you're a salesperson. I think you're an enthusiast.
I like that.
Well, people will say I'm not a salesman, but who wants to say I'm not an enthusiast? Do you get the twist there?
Yes.
You catch how that flips it around to where you're not gonna. I mean, you may not. You don't want to say, "Oh my gosh, you know, I can't get excited about anything." I mean, who wants to say that? And so it kind of, does that work? And so what happens in our conversations, and that's really my goal in interacting with you guys, is that kind of a thing comes up and you have just a little twist of a phrase that turns the whole thing, right? And so that thing, well, I don't think we are salesmen. I think we're enthusiasts. I think we're fascinated with living things and what makes them more alive. And I see you as an enthusiast. I don't see you as a salesperson. And they're probably not going to throw that back. So what the goal is, and mentally think this, watch for objections to come. And this is also a little twist that hit me years ago. What do you do with something like that? You instantly say, oh, that now is an objective. I don't know anybody. Oh, would you like to know a whole bunch of really, really nice people? I mean, I offer you guys up as an example, right? Come to Avini. You're going to meet a lot of really, really nice people. Oh, I don't have any money. Oh, gee, would you like some? Right? I don't have any time. Well, follow me around. See what I'm doing. You probably would. My buddies, and I don't know if you guys will get this, if you're old enough to get this or not. Anybody remember the company Maiden Form? Anybody remember what was their slogan? My buddies look at me and I'm supposed to be working. I mean, I'll take a phone call and stuff, but I'm at the lake a lot of the time. I'm with skiers a lot of the time. I'm all over the country dinking around doing this and that. The slogan for Maiden Form, which is who they think I work for, no visible means of support.
Oh.
So exactly what are you doing for your work? Well, I'm talking to these people. They're really interesting. No visible means of support.
Mm.
I mean, I'm working right now. I mean, I'm suffering. I got a half an hour to make it upstairs for the first college football season. Game of the season is Nebraska, so I get to go up and watch Nebraska here in a little bit. Anyway,
I like that.
enough of that
Thank
stuff.
you.
And,
Thank
yeah, you bet.
I'm gonna
Objection
use it.
becomes an
Carol, go
objection.
ahead.
Enthusiast.
Yep. Compensation plan becomes a conversation plan. What
Oh,
are we rewarded for? Conversation. Right?
Yep.
Objection becomes an objective. A
Yeah.
salesperson becomes an enthusiast. Those little twists and the things that just tick like that. Marcy's stuff like who won't know if you don't tell them? Who can't
Right.
wait while you think about it? Those kind of things. Little things like that you could twist. And I notice that you guys pick it up and use it in your conversation. Some of the things. Paid in goosebumps came out already today. That's Rich Cotter. So we somebody says something. When he said that, you instantly knew, okay, that's awesome. What does that say? Instead, we're not gee, I can't talk to people about money. Well, we're not really paid that way. We're paid in goosebumps. It just changes the flavor, and it's true. I mean, if it wasn't true, it wouldn't work. It's got to be true, and the marriage has to be right. Network marketing by itself, where I walk up and lay my hand on your shoulders and say, hey, Carol, you do what I do, and we'll both get rich. Well, I bet you I don't have anybody on here that's capable of doing that. But if the marriage is right, and the product truly does what we've talked about here tonight, and there's an opportunity associated with it, now you're equally yoked between the product and the opportunity. Now you've got Avini. Now you've got something that's rare in the world. And that's what we have. That's what we have.
Rare in the world. Bill has a question. You have to unmute, Bill.
Well, it's not really a question. And I don't want to interrupt Chip. So
no, you guys get
Go
me
ahead.
going. I'm quiet until you pull the string.
okay. I didn't want to interrupt.
No.
I want to be responsible. I just want to welcome Lisa Will from South Carolina. She's my guest. Woo woo! Hi, Lisa. And talking about sharing, and this is really great, Chip, is you know, I get stopped in life when I think I'm not enough. Like I'm not big enough, I'm not strong enough, you know, I'm not 6'3", 250 pounds, I'm not, you know, the businessman. And so I get stopped in life when I have an internal conversation in the background, I'm not enough. So I what I found is just really realizing, well, I am enough. I can share, you know, sharing just takes a few minutes, or like with Christine's daughter, I led a very personal, uh, very personal, cozy introduction about the landmark forum that I'm sure made a difference, you know, for her daughter. So I just wanted to welcome Lisa, and I love sharing. Carol turned me on to Cell Defender. I took it at 10 o'clock in the morning on the 4th of July. 10:45, I'm like, oh my God, I have all this energy. My sinuses are draining. My depression is lifted. My brain fog is lifted. And I'm just like, wow, you know, what is this stuff? And so I called Carol, and she said, well, you know, it's the Avini Health Cell Defender. And I've been hooked ever since. And the next day, the next morning, I woke up at 6:30 in the morning. Like, I gotta be a distributor. I have to share this. It is amazing. And I threw away my last bottle of antidepressants. Done, over with, no more. And really, I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. And so bought the nano silver, which has really been great for my colon and intestines, killing off the nasty bad stuff. And using the mushrooms now, and going to Dallas for this summit convention, which is awesome. So I'm just a happy camper.
Well,
So
we're
I
a
have-
happy camper that you're a happy camper.
I have to shine back the mirror on you, Bill. As you were listening earlier, and right this second, I was watching your face, smiling and bobbing your head, yes. And I thought, and Lisa the same. Lisa was saying, okay, that kind of makes sense to me. I'm watching. And by the way, I just got a new set of. I invented these. I think I call them Zoom glasses. My old ones, because I had to look clear like this. So everybody said, well, you're always showing us your nostrils. Why are you doing that? So this is the very first Zoom I have these new Zoom glasses, so I can look at you guys straight on and see you. Let's see, someplace here I tried out the concept before I made them. Where are they? Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, so I have you got to have a little bit of creativity and invention in you to do this kind of thing. And this was my test. This was my test set, and so it confirmed that it would work. That I could see you guys that way. So then, because I knew it would work, I had these made. And now I can look at you guys straight on. So these are my new Zoom glasses. That's the very first Zoom for these glasses. But I wanted to say another thing, Bill, about you. And I think this is all of us. Each of us is perfect for somebody. We are the conduit through which the idea of Avini will flow, and it'll flow through us to people that no one else could reach. And for some reason, maybe because you're not scary to be around. If indeed you were a huge Sasquatch type of a guy, there'd be a lot of people that wouldn't listen to you. But because you're who you are, and it's comforting to be around you, and you can tell your own story, each of us. That's the most of the Ed Kwaski story I've heard before. That's the most of him I've heard tonight. I didn't know as much. I didn't know that he was in trouble. I saw him as he is now and just figured, well, he must have always been that way. You know, so when you reveal, and you really have to let people in, you got to let them know you a little bit, then they'll let you know them. Oftentimes, so that's one of the reasons your story is so powerful. And
Well,
so let
thank
people
you.
know you suffered a little long to get here. Yeah.
Thank you. And before I thank you very much for the acknowledgement. I appreciate it. And before I forget, Lisa, you shared with me a little bit this morning that, you're now starting to feel the positive effects of the Cell Defender. Would you like to take a moment and share?
Sure. So a little of my history. I'm actually from New York State, and I trained horses for a lot of years. And I finally left IBM to pursue my dream of training horses. And 5 years later, I said, okay, now I got to go get a real job. So I've been at both ends of the financial spectrum. But what I've been dealing with the last 7 or 8 years is I have Lyme, which was undiagnosed for a year and a half. And just recently, we finally did some heavy metals tests, and my lead is way out of whack. Like I just had it up here, but it's like a 10 when it should be less than 2. And that's on one test, but not the other. But anyway, I've been doing a lot of detoxing, but the detoxing does not seem to be helping the metal.
Yeah. It's unreachable until you do it this way.
Yeah.
Because you have to actually sequester it. It gets stuck in you because it has such a strong positive charge, and it displaces a biologically active metal, and then it just rides with you the rest of your life. In the case of lead, it's especially in your skeleton, and it's kind of incredible how many horse people wind up here. So you're right, in my view, you're right below Christine. So we got horse, and I don't know if there's that. My sister is a great horse person. There's several great ones in Avini. You don't want to be a horse person with a skeleton that isn't resilient, because
No.
you may get a random bone density test at any given moment. You know what I'm talking about, right? And then you dust yourself off, and then you say, okay, can I stand up or not? When you begin to use Avini products, the slowest thing to happen is replacing your skeleton, because those cells actually change over more gradually than any other tissue in your body. It takes 10 or 12 years to get a brand new skeleton. So my question to you is, the opposite end of that is all the things that get hurt when you take chemo. So the lining of your gut, your immune cells, all that kind of stuff. Those are the quickly changing cells, right? The slow changing cells are the bones. And so it takes 10 or 12 years to get a brand new skeleton. So starting now, Lisa, 10 or 12 years from now, you can have a brand new skeleton with all the old lead still in it, plus 10 or 12 more years of lead, or you can have a brand new clean skeleton. I hope that gives you an example of why the hygiene, why you keep brushing your teeth every day, why once you know about this, you start doing it every day. And what day do you quit? You quit on the same day you quit brushing your teeth for the same reason.
Because you can't.
Because you died.
Yeah. Because you're not here.
Yep.
Yeah, because you don't care about taking care of yourself anymore.
Yeah.
Hygiene is such a powerful thing. I mean, it doesn't seem like much today, but you extend it for a lifetime. And, well, several of us are in a category. I just went to my high school reunion, 55th. Third of them are dead. That just cuts all them out, right? And then the divergence that's occurring, the split, and you guys are watching it too. you watch your peers, and some of you are a bit younger. You watch what happens now. The changes, the ones that hang on, that stay healthy, become incredible.
Mhm.
And people will start to ask you, how are you doing that?
Yeah.
You know, why aren't you being hurt? Aging is an accumulation of damage. Why aren't you being hurt?
And I
Why
look
can
at
you still do all
my
that stuff? Yeah.
my dad was still playing golf 3 days a week till 3 months before he died at 85.
There you go.
He was arranging his chemo around his golf schedule. I
Cool.
want to be like that, but less the chemo. And I come from a family who has longevity, and I had an iron immune system until that one frickin' tick got me.
Yeah.
And I was living in Savannah, Georgia, where, according to the first 42, we don't have Lyme here.
Do you know yet? Have you had enough Avini to know the effect? Or are you beginning
No,
to feel?
I'm only 2 days in, but
Well, I'm trying to be patient with you.
but
I'm trying to be patient with you. You're going to have a great story.
yeah,
You're going to have a great. It's amazing what happens, because
I think
that
I will.
spirochete is in there, and he's like a missile in a silo. He's protected himself, and mercury is one of the things it does. When they treat that, they usually come after it with a strong antibiotic, but they have to get it right away, because it will start to harden itself and protect itself. And Avini has the 3 different products that are capable of killing the bacteria. The spirochete cannot hide. You will start.
That's what I'm looking for.
You're going to be a happy girl. If you don't feel wonderful, just say Chip lied to me and quit. It's just it will happen. It's just for sure. It's not like maybe it'll happen. It'll happen for sure. People say, well, everybody's different. Well, they're not that kind of different. I mean, if you get by the tick and you're suffering and you get a hold of Avini, you're not that kind of different. You're going to get the same miracle. Miracles are not going to quit happening just because you need one.
What are the other 2 products?
Oh my goodness. Well, I didn't know we had other products. Oh yeah. Actually, we lead the world in several areas. And one of them is discomfort. And for that, we have what we call Plus Relief. And it can be a topical, which is either a roll-on or a gel, or an oral spray. And that one is a short chain protein called a peptide. And we change the message of misery as it goes through the chemical switches in the nervous system with that one. Another one, most everybody has some silver in their medicine chest. Does everybody here have some silver? And it's probably colloidal silver. Well, colloidal is too big. It gets stuck just like the other metals do in you, and will eventually show itself by turning you blue, which is called argyria. Or it's ionic silver. Somebody says, I make it myself. I have a battery in my garage and I drop some silver and I make my own silver. Well, that's a kind of cool. I mean, obviously you know about it, but it's a pretty not a very high-tech approach to the problem. What Avini has done is to take silver, knowing that size and shape are everything in these games that we're playing, all of them. 200 atoms in a ball, held exactly in that size and shape by a single coating of silver oxide tetrahedrons, is the perfect form of silver. We call it Avini nano silver. And it is impossible for most pathogens and parasites to survive its presence, especially when you put it together with Avini Cell Defender and Avini Z-Immunity. Z-Immunity being an array of medicinal mushrooms that support your white blood cells that go to war for you every day. When I was a kid, I had a special forces team. You have special forces teams as well. And it's your immune cells that are in there fighting for you. You want them to be good. My thought when I, went into special forces was, I got to be better than the best guy the other countries have. Well, you want your immune cells to be better than the best cells that the other guys have, right? I haven't used that one before. I like that one. Kind of like that one. Special
Good.
forces. I think of us as the special forces of healthcare, right? We're able to break the rules a little bit to get it done, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of who we are.
Yeah, I'm
Chip-
tired of following the rules. The rules aren't working.
Exactly.
There you go.
Bill, you
Sure.
have a comment?
Yeah, I really do. From time to time I'll get the canker sores, which are viruses. And normally it takes 5 days for the canker sore to heal itself and go away. With the Avini Nano Silver, which I take, to kill off the bugs, the bad bugs in the colon, intestine. I'll swish the nano silver around in my mouth, like a tablespoon or 1.5 tablespoons. I'll swish it around and expose the canker sore to the nano silver, and the canker sore heals in 2 days or less.
They should become less frequent as well, less frequent and much easier to deal with. And you kind of think about that because you can see those, feel them, and touch them. And when you see that sore recovering, Bill, I want you to, in your mind, extrapolate to the things you can't see. So that sore getting well is what I call the substance of the things you're hoping for and the evidence of the things that you can't see that are happening inside of you. I snuck one out of the Bible for that.
I love it.
Very spiritual, but true.
There you
So,
go.
so I have something I want to share. So, we had Deidre Thornton on. She's
Oh yeah, that's right.
my idol. We had her on a couple weeks ago, and she, she does colon colon therapy,
Clinic.
and
Colonics.
colonics, yeah. And she was saying to spray it, like in your face and on your lips and for the little fine wrinkles, above your lip. And so I was having all these like dark spots on my arms, and I was like, I'm just going to do one arm. So you guys, you got to see, I have none. And then I have a bunch of them here. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to start spraying this arm, but I've only been doing it for maybe 2 weeks. And I just spray it every morning, but only on the one arm. And the one arm is almost totally clear of the brown spots. And
Amazing, Carol.
this one's horrible. This one really ages me. So I'm getting rid of it quickly.
So using it inside and out
Oh, yes.
is more effective than using it only from the inside. That would eventually happen.
Yeah.
But using it inside and out is faster. And so that's pretty cool. I really love this little group. I love coming and being with you guys. Picked up some things from Deirdre, and I want to point them out to you. Last week, I have not heard her say anyplace else, or at least not heard it in this way. Did you notice that she said that in her practice, they could come up and do everything in the large intestine, but they were kind of limited there. And when they started using the Avini products, the little clear part of the tube and the things were coming out, they started seeing 2 different categories of things that they did not see before, even in their patients that have been with them for years. And the suspicion was that they would see maybe the segments of something that was attached to the wall coming out before. Now they had to get out the textbook because they were seeing the heads come out. Now you're actually finally getting it done. Then, and I wonder if you guys remember this, it's the benefit of being around a long time. Do you remember she said they started seeing globs of white mucus full of parasites coming through? And she said, I had never seen that before. And then she began to ask herself, well, where are those coming from? Back in the book for that, all of a sudden, instead of being limited to being only able to do the colon, Now with Avini coming in through the top, they were able to get things to bail out and leave the duodenum. So the small intestine, the upper intestine, the parasites were leaving there that she had no way of getting at before. I didn't think of a colon therapist as being limited. You know, you think that, well, they're doing a drastic thing to clear the bowels, but you don't think, oh, they can't get past that particular sphincter. They can't get up into the small intestine. Yep. So now all of a sudden, what happened in her practice was both phones started ringing at the same time. The people that wanted to get into her clinic and the people that wanted to join her Avini business. And she basically got sucked out of retirement because the money was working. Because the practice was working. She was able to do what no one else could do because she added this one thing. So think about this, you guys. When that came into her clinic, two things happened. Her ability to deal with so many more things, not just the parasites in the colon, but all kinds of maladies of humankind. You know, all of a sudden her practice is gigantic as far as the range of afflictions she can deal with. But think about it geographically, what happened? What happened to her business geographically when Avini came in the door? She went from people that could drive into Bozeman to all of North America and soon the world. I saw several of you made that gesture. And that gesture that you just made, that example, I think everybody understands that. When you talk about it, somebody that has an appointment time clinic, you know, the people, they are limited to the people that can drive to them, that they can, the time that they can make appointments with, the things that the modalities they have will deal with. You bring Avini to a person like that who has the skill and the intent anyway, and all of a sudden they're just able to help so many more people and they're no longer geographically confined.
Yes.
Excellent point. Raksha, you have your hand up? You can unmute.
Yeah, my question's for Carol. She said she's been spraying it on her hand.
No, on my arms. My arms.
Okay, today I'm gonna start spraying on mine. Not for the dark spots, but you know that creepy skin we get? Because my hands are always in hot water and stuff, right? So I'm gonna do a before and after and see how it looks. Thanks for giving me that idea.
Very long on one arm, let me tell you, because I've really got a mismatched arm right now.
That's a great
They'll be matching soon.
That's a
one
great
arm
tip.
looks like I could be 90. The other one looks like I could be 30.
So we're just about out of time. We're almost out of time. Donnie, welcome. We didn't even say hello to you. We saw you came in a little bit later, but welcome, Donnie. Glad you're here. Do you have any questions? We gave the opportunity for some people to ask questions, so we want to give you that same opportunity. Would you like to ask any questions of anybody? Or at least tell us where you're from. You just have to unmute. Can you unmute?
I just prompted him.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Donnie.
Yeah, I'm new. I'm not real familiar with Zoom, but I'm willing to work through it. And just glad to hear what you guys are saying, because my wife is taking this cell core thing right now, trying to get rid of some of these things in her body. So it's very interesting.
Cell Defender. Yes, good. Where are you from, Donnie?
Sumter, South Carolina. I'm sorry. I am from Sumter, South Carolina.
All
About
right.
middle of the state, between Florence and Columbia, if you're familiar with those two.
Certainly. Well, we welcome you to the call, and we're glad that your wife and what about you? Now, your wife, but what about you?
Well, I'm just listening, and when I hear the benefits, you know, surely I will be willing to get on board.
Well, the good news is that we do record all these calls, and what Carol was referencing her Deidre Thornton last week, we do have recordings on all these as well. But before we go, we'll give you, if you do have any questions, feel free. Chip is with us tonight, so he's a real treat. He can answer any questions. We're here to help, and we're here to answer those questions.
Sure. Sounds good.
Chip, I have a question.
I'm
So,
ready.
mhm, I know you are. So I have somebody that signed up. They're on my team, and his wife has been literally bedridden for a year. And I put her on the Marcy dose, 1 dropper full every waking hour. And in 4 days, she's out of bed. She's cooking. She rode in the car with him. She went to the park with him. He feels like he has a new wife. And before I got her on Cell Defender, he was shopping specialist because he was really feeling like he was going to wake up one morning and she wasn't going to be with us anymore. It had gotten that bad. And anyway, she so she just is taking the Cell Defender, and she did the Marcy dose. And
So
and
you're
she,
wondering, how can this be?
yeah, like,
Right?
how,
That's my favorite question. How can this be?
yeah,
So, so
how
if you would like to see a 5-minute video of what's happening in her brain, look up these 3 words on YouTube, or it is in avinihealthtraining.com. Look up these 3 words on YouTube.
Okay.
Brain, 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 mercury, MERCURY, and the last word is neuron, NEURON. Look that up on YouTube. You're looking for a 5-minute and 1-second video. Oftentimes it has a gray square. A lot of people use it. It's not an Avini video. It's 5 minutes. It was done by the dental institution because they argue with each other about whether the mercury and silver amalgam fillings kills people's brains or not. And it literally dissolves the insulation on the tiniest nerves in the brain. That's what mercury does.
Wow.
So my analysis of the question you asked was, mercury is leaving her brain. Her brain neurons are continually reaching out to each other, just like we are, to build these groups, right? Just like Lisa got invited and Donnie got invited tonight, that we continually reach out to each other. Same thing's happening in our brain. They don't quit just because somebody says no up there. But if there's mercury, you don't succeed. If you don't have a good opportunity to offer, a network doesn't work. And when you begin to remove the mercury, those neurons begin to be successful as they reach out to each other again. So that's what's happening.
got it.
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Carol. Then Raksha has a question.
And so when I reached out to Gary yesterday, he said, how can I not share this?
Well, I love it that he said that. You know, he is what? A salesman? No. What
No,
is
he's
he?
an enthusiast.
Exactly. See how quick? Just flip that. Oh, I see you.
He
I
is
see you love it too.
Absolutely
He's
an
a very quick
enthusiast.
learner, that Carol Witt. Her last name is
Thank
Witt.
you for being interested. You know, thank you for being interested in what we're doing.
Yes.
It's fascinating. I mean, and it's every single metabolic function, every single tissue. You should, you know, you may be able to get one arm to happen quicker than the other, but you know, all of your tissues should begin to improve. I'm going to tell a quick story and then I'll do Raksha's thing on silver. When I came back, I had a trout farm and I was the only person out in the sandhills there. I wouldn't see another soul unless a plane flew over, and I couldn't see that unless somebody delivered propane once a month. That was who I would see. It was that remote an area. Little spring coming out of the side of the hill, and I'd hatch these trout and raise them until they were bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'd feed them out of a paper bag. I'd throw these pellets to them. Well, it wasn't too long until they had scoured off clear down to the dirt in the ponds where they grew up and got bigger and bigger. And so I thought, well, I got to see. And we were actually, they were going to places to be stocked into ponds and streams for sport. But I thought, well, I'm going to just eat one of these and see what they're like. And when I cooked it, I thought, well, this is kind of weird. You know, I didn't know if it would be good or not. I noticed the flesh was really, really white and soft. And when I ate it, it wasn't very tasty. I thought, wow, that's not very good. I mean, who would want that? And then I thought, well, I'm going to try an inch away where all the water comes back together and it's not crowded anymore. and the fish haven't scoured it down to the sand, and you reach in and pick up the green moss, and you look at it, and it's full of snails and freshwater shrimp and bugs just writhing in there, and they're eating that. And when I ate that trout, he looked the same on the outside, but his flesh was firm and pink and tasty. And I didn't know about this then, but I do think this is what we're doing. I thought, oh my gosh, that's happening to us. We can have mushy, soft, white, not very tasty flesh, or we can have the nice, firm, pink, tasty, strong, wonderful to be alive, fall off your horse and don't get hurt kind of bones and flesh, that kind of stuff. Okay, Raksha, ask your silver question.
So I just want to know from you, how do I take it? Because I've been spraying it in my mouth. So I've been doing 3 sprays under my tongue and then 2 sprays on my face with my eyes open. So I have an appointment with my doctor to check my eyes tomorrow, because lately my glasses have been hurting my eyes. So I'm hoping that my numbers have gone down.
It's conceivable that they have. And I'm going to show you a little trick. We have clear bottles now. The one sitting by my computer here is a blue bottle of silver. This is our silver. So you can actually take a swig of it, just to shock the system if you want to.
Yeah,
A quarter, a third, or half a bottle. But when I spray it in my face, I'm going to do 5 sprays. So I'm going to put 3 of them in my mouth. And it's very, very important. I better put on my glasses so I can see you guys again, because I love your response to this. You cannot spray this under your tongue.
Oh,
You got to go on top of your tongue.
okay.
If it falls off, it's okay, but under the tongue is considered sublingual, and that's a medical procedure. And we don't have drugs, we don't have medical stuff. So, but none of our products can you put under your tongue, because that's a medical. Incredibly, it's reserved. Sublingual is a medical process. Even holding something in your mouth so that it's absorbed there is considered to be a medical process. If it's too big of a molecule to be absorbed later on and you do it in your mouth, people that have companies like that get in trouble and lose their companies, because now I tell you to hold these products in your mouth, not because they get absorbed, but because you'll see your teeth brighten and the plaque won't form, and your oral health and the bacteria in there will get better. And so if it's working in your mouth, that's fine. If it gets absorbed, you're counting on absorbing it out of your mouth, or you put it under your tongue. Isn't it crazy the world we play in, right? But here's how we do it. If I'm going to do 5 sprays, I put 5 in my mouth, 3 in my mouth, and the last 2, I hold my eyes really wide open because I want to get them in my eyes. And at the same instant, I take a really big breath through my mouth because I'm wanting to suck this down in my lungs. And it feels, I might cough a little bit, but you get the idea. Well, here we go. So I just drew that right down into my lungs, and I got my eyeballs with those last 2 squirts.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you ask, and that's how I do. That's exactly how I use it.
Okay.
No, I just go ahead. I just wanted to share something that I chased my husband around the other night with the bottle of silver. I told him that. Open up your eyes, open your mouth. He thought I was crazy. But after I did it, I shared with you, take it in, breathe it in. And it is remarkable because he's an excavator, and he's always around all this rock crushing and all this stuff on a daily basis with paving and all. So now he's willing to do it himself.
Well, it's and I'm not joking here, but it's an important point to make. It's attributes of a younger organism. In Avini, you should see the wives chasing the husbands around. And if you're an older guy, I'm just warning you guys ahead of time. You start using this and you drop a few pounds, I have to be real careful. If I get below 225, I can't go to Walmart anymore, because all of a sudden the little ladies are following me around with crazy eyes. I mean, you just can't do it. You got to be careful. With that, I'm going to go to the Nebraska game. See you guys later.
Hey, bye, Chip. Thank you so much.
Love your group. Love your Zoom. Thanks for having me with you.
Say hi to Marcy.
Thank you.
She's up there. She's up there. See you in a minute. Bye.
God bless you. All right, guys, we're so fortunate to have him with us each week, and it's great to have all of you, Lisa, Guest, and Donnie. So thank you for joining us tonight. I just want to leave you with this. We're going to be blessed with Doug Dickey coming through the states. Okay, he's going to be coming through a lot of states. Watch our Avini business, the WhatsApp, and he's going to be coming to, I think there's 10 or 12 states he's going to be doing starting within a week. So he'll be moving through the state. So we'll put it in Avini business. Hopefully he'll land close to you because he's another remarkable leader in this company that we could listen to for hours. So God bless each and every one of you. Remember, Carol, thank you for recording this. She's so good at doing the tech stuff and her enthusiasm. And again, Lisa, Donnie, thank you for being with us tonight.
Absolutely. So as soon as we end, I'll download this onto my computer and then upload it into YouTube, and I'll send Christine the link, and then she can send it out to everyone. Okay?
Great.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Thank you, Christine,
everyone.
Carol, Ed, all of you. Bill, appreciate
Bye,
it.
everyone.
Donnie, thank you for being here.
Night.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Thank you, guys.
Enjoyed it.